to our lightning round.
Ding, ding,
Okay.
ding.
Our lightning round is related to this topic, and that's gender equality. Whether gender equality is a myth. There have been some articles talking about this, and our dear Beyonce was one of those people who put out something on the internet, and she talked about gender equality and why we have still not reached a point in our lives, in our evolution, where men and women are completely equal at work and everything else. So Adeline, is gender equality a myth, you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's an oxymoron, and just even having the two terms together, you know, gender equality. By no means have we reached a sort of, you know, point in our lives, unfortunately, or in our history, where women are on par with men in terms of many, many things, from you know, housekeeping to you know, the workforce. I mean, look at these Fortune 500 companies. There are only 22 CEOs who are women of the Fortune 500 companies. Of the first 1,000 Fortune 1000 companies, there are only 43 women. So, you know, we're still trying to break through that glass ceiling in the corporate world and the professional world. And in addition to that, we're still juggling all of the same responsibilities that we ever had at home as parents, and, you know, we're the primary caretakers of our children. You know, and I think that unfortunately society continues to sort of encourage that sort of role where mom does everything, and it's what's expected of her. Because if you see a man who's pushing a stroller or carrying his baby in his little sack and whatever, it's, oh my God, he's super dad. Everything from commercials to society to the other women in the playground with their children. Oh, look at what a great dad he is. You know, he's here playing with his kid. Well, so what?
With that all the time. Yeah.
So what? What about the 50 other women playing with their kids?
Yeah.
You know, why aren't they superheroes? Why aren't you calling them superstars and superheroes? But one guy shows up pushing a stroller, and everybody's falling all over him, thinks he's the greatest thing on the planet.
Marco.
Well, I just think that women have made such great strides. I mean, if you look at the statistics, in the last 15 years at least, they've totally outstripped male enrollment in law schools. They've been the dominant in law schools, in medical schools. They're women. There's fewer men going to college as opposed to more women going to college. There's actually a concern among universities and colleges that they won't have enough males, period, okay, because men are chucking it. And they are breaking through the glass ceiling. They're going through, I mean, look at GM. There's a number of them. I can't remember it's not Facebook, but one of the other big social media is run by a woman. That's coming. In fact, I think it's inevitable that the women are going to basically become the predominant economic force. The women have choices. They have the choice to be a mother or not. They have a choice whether to get married or not. They have a choice to whether to do a career. They have the choice of trying to do it all. Okay, and so to me, you have a lot of choices. It's what you really want to put your effort and time into. And if that means you can't, quote, have it all because you got to push a stroller and you got to push the, you know, some buttons at work, well, maybe that's a question of choice, not necessarily that there's always a ceiling.
That's interesting. I have to say, I have to agree with you. I think gender equality is still a myth at this point, and I think it really comes down to how we're raising our children. It goes back to parenting again. I know for sure there's no gender equality in my house, and you know, it just isn't. And studies have been done on this, where women who pay fully half of all the bills and contribute to the household, they still do 90% of the housework. And I know in my house, my husband, and he's a modern man, he's not that old, he basically says, oh, I'm not going to do that, that's women's work. So what is my son hearing? And is my son going to consider women to be equal? No.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there are so many households where that happens, where it's like, oh, you punch like a girl or you run like a girl. That shows that, well, you think women are less than, girls are less than. So,
absolutely.
You know, unfortunately, it still happens, and until we fix that, we're never going to have gender equality.
Oh,
so.
Maybe we should ask Marco when's the last time he scrubbed his own bathtub or a toilet bowl. I'm going to see how equal
Just
we are
the other night.
We're
Just the other night.
We're out of time.
I'm
guys,
not married.
So,
I got to do it.
So thank you, everybody out there, for watching The Opinion.
So you're not married. There you go.